Welcome back to another episode of Getting Personal. I'm here today with Bobby, founder of Did Coding and CEO at Oddersea. How are you doing today, Bobby? It's really great to have you around.
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah.
Nice. Before we get into all the fun stuff that you're working on and a bit about your, personal story and how you got into this world of Web3, I always like to ask, as a founder, from your position within the ecosystem, what's your pulse on the current state of Web3 or Hedera, if you want to be more specific? Like, what's your sentiment as we sit here today?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been working with Hedera now for 2.5 years, and a lot has changed from when I first kind of entered into this world. Current status is it's quite dynamic, as is just the general world of Web3 anyway. But there's been a lot of movement recently with HTS tokens and just the general kind of marketplace for NFTs. So it's a crazy market, and it's quite difficult to keep up with things.
Yeah, I can relate with that for sure. And you said 2.5 years. What does your story look like when you look back, and how the past, how it shaped you to where we are today? How did you enter Hedera? How did you come across Hedera? Why did you pick Hedera?
Well, the old cliche, more or less picked me. I come across Hedera over a pint at my local pub. My one of the good friends of mine, he founded Hash Hairs. Anyway, we're having a couple of drinks, and he mentioned I wasn't in the crypto in any way, shape, or form, and he started talking about crypto as a whole and what he invested in. He said started talking about Hedera, this new technology, this sort of emerging. He knew I was a developer. He knew that I was a bit of a closet geek, and he said you need to really start looking into this and maybe move into the Web3 world, because I was very much 100% Web2.
Hmm.
So sure enough, done some of my own research, looked in Hedera, a few videos on YouTube, and I was hooked. So started doing some content of my own. I run a YouTube channel. Started doing some content around Python and Django and other kind of web frameworks, and
Hmm.
started doing some research on how to work with Hedera and their APIs and SDKs and what have you, and started doing some content. And eventually, Hedera reached out to me and said that they liked what I was doing. And yeah, I ended up working alongside them, doing this kind of Hedera centric type videos, and the rest is history. That feels like a lifetime ago now.
Yeah, because you did some really, really cool educational content, right, around NFTs and how to create NFTs. Is that something you
Yeah.
still do today as well?
Yeah, I do. I've got another channel that focuses predominantly on Hedera,
Hmm.
but wind the clock back a few months or a couple of years even, when I started doing educational content on Did Coding's YouTube channel. It was nobody else was doing any educational stuff on Python because there wasn't
Hmm.
a Hedera-based SDK for Python. So I started just fiddling and playing around. So that's where that content started, and it was all about how to get up and running using Python as a high-end language,
Hmm.
how you could build dApps. And I launched a NFT project called Little Bobos. What was that? That must have been over a year ago now, on Kabila actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a kind of a hobby project, just so that I could show how easy it was to come up with a concept of an NFT project, build an application, and deploy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was more of a hobby more than anything else to start with, but I fell in love with it, and yeah, and any content I do now is more kind of on in depth, and I think the last couple were kind of deep dives on the apps that are out there in the marketplace that people can use.
Hmm. And how do you feel like, together with how the ecosystem has evolved, the people in it or the people coming in, are they through these educational videos that you're doing, do you feel that people are catching on more so as well? Like, how do you find people when they receive these videos? Are people more on it now than 2 years ago? How have you seen that evolution as well?
Yeah. Definitely more so. I mean, Hedera has slowly been growing in terms of foothold and general kind of community over the last 2 years. It was very, very new when I first come about and started understanding what Hedera was all, how Hedera really was, kind of Web3 2.0, if you like. It was space ages further above and beyond anything else out there in the market. So I've seen more the community grow and evolve over time, and I think now we're at quite a nice stage actually. NFTs have really started taking off. We're still not quite as big as the likes of Sol or ETH or anything like that, but NFTs are really kind of picking up speed now, which is great to see, because obviously I launched Oddersea nearly a year ago, and we chose Hedera opposed to other DLTs or chains because of it. It was emerging, and we felt that it was, in a year or two's time, was really going to be the place where you wanted to go to, and all things NFTs. So yeah, it's been a journey to say the least, but I like where it is now, and I like where it's heading.
Yeah. You mentioned Oddersea. Let's unpack that, shall we? Let's dive into Oddersea. For those maybe hearing about it for the first time, how did it start? What's the vision? Yeah, give us a little overview of Oddersea and where you're at today.
Okay, so Oddersea it's like an NFT tooling platform, and essentially we came up with a concept for this. It was over a year ago. We launched the beta app in September 2023, and we're still in the beta stage. We will be moving to full production very, very soon. Now, when we launched Oddersea, we wanted to make sure that we were very, very different and nothing like the norm that was currently out there, not just on Hedera, but the wider kind of scope. And in terms of NFTs, we wanted to provide a platform where users could be very much creative, because currently with NFTs, the market is that if you have a fungible token that you want to invest in an NFT, you go to a platform, a marketplace, or a launchpad, you purchase an NFT, but you're not actually minting that NFT. You're just buying an NFT that has been minted already.
Mm-hmm.
You have no call on what it looks like. You're not creative in any way, shape, or form. So we built Oddersea with the view to allow users to become creative. We design the artwork. You layer that artwork up. You create something unique to you. Then you mint it on our platform. We also wanted to enable users to buy NFTs using fiat currency, HBAR, and other cryptocurrencies cross-chain. So we've done that. We've got a build your own NFT feature, like I just said. And we also offer some land as well. So whenever you mint an NFT on our platform, you can then mint a land NFT, and you can mine for a fungible token called Odd. So we wanted just to make sure that anyone that's used to NFTs could use Oddersea. So it's got a familiar feel. So you can connect your wallet using HashConnect. You can connect your wallet. You can purchase via Hashpack, and it's got that kind of user feel that everyone's used to in Hedera. But also, we wanted to make sure that it was no different to a Web 2 feel. So anyone who's used to purchasing something on Amazon can log in, they can sign up with an email, and they can actually buy an NFT and enter into the world of Web 3 with fiat currency. And that's what we've done. So we've kind of shortened the gap of or entry point for new Web 2 to Web 3 users, which I feel like we've done a very good job of doing that. But we've been building this now for over a year. We launched it just over 6 months ago, and in that time, we've been really honing and polishing up the app to make sure that it's absolutely exactly where we wanted it to be. And I feel that we're now at that point, and we're really at the cusp of launching it to production and really going out to the masses.
Nice. And what can people expect from this production going live? Do you have some surprises? Anything you'd like to share? Anything you're really excited about coming this year related to Oddersea this upgrade?
Yeah, we have. So we've already got quite a lot of features, right? So the app in its current format in beta is already offering the build your own NFT. It's got a land offering, fungible tokens. We're on the edge of launching a community-led raffle and lottery.
Cool.
So users are going to be able to purchase tickets, which are actually NFTs. And over the course of a week or 2 weeks, whenever we run these draws, they'll be able to win substantial amounts of fungible tokens, whether it be HBAR, odd, or another. And 50% of the funds generated from these raffles and lotteries will go into other Web3 projects and community selected good causes, which is going to be fun and very different. But we also have something which is called our partner program. So we've been playing with this for some time. Hashhares was our very first partner program. So by owning Hashhares NFTs in your connected wallet, you can benefit with inflated mining rates for our fungible token. And we're looking to expand on that partner program with the likes of hopefully Candyland this year, which will be fun. So we're at the early stages of that, and we've got some art being designed currently, and we've got a plot of land on Oddersea set aside that Candy owners will be benefiting from very, very soon.
That sounds sweet. How do you see this partnership program evolving? Like, do you have a number of partners in mind? Like, how do you see it? Let's say 2 years into the future, how do you see this partnership program evolving and bringing value to the users on Oddersea?
Yeah, so like I say, when we were dreaming up Oddersea, it was kind of three-pronged. The problems that we were trying to fix was the entry points, so the barrier to entry, the creativity, and also bringing utility to other projects and other entities, whether it be Web 2 or Web 3. And I believe by partnering up with other Web 3, let's say art projects, is fantastic because we can, by providing land and other features that you can naturally have on the Oddersea platform, we are bringing utility to these projects that may not be able to provide that organically. So Hashhares, for instance, they didn't have a website. Their NFTs are fantastic. They're really well designed, but other than the normal kind of NFT art projects, there isn't much utility over and beyond that. So by linking arms with us, we're bringing like inherent utility. Yeah. So down the line, what we're hoping to do is to bring more Web3 NFT projects under the fold as a partner, and hopefully carving up big chunks of land of Oddersea for these different entities, so that we can grow and evolve as one. But there's no reason why we can't also link arms with Web2 companies that are looking to maybe step into Web3 as well. So over the next 2 years, I do believe that partner program will become fundamental in Oddessea's growth. Like I say, Hashhares, on the back of becoming a partner, has also received a website. So we do a lot of hosting and web design for these partners as well. So hashhares.oddesea.com is their website. Yep. So I think the partner program, like I say, will become one of the fundamental sort of cornerstones of what Oddersea is all about moving forward.
Nice. Well, we all know that collaboration in Web3 is a driving force, right? That one community, another community, and the tools or the skills that both have and leveraging each other. And Hashhares did they use the build your own NFT mechanism as well for something, or am I imagining that? Like, could a partner program also use that?
Yeah, that's correct. So when Hashhares first come aboard, we've got some fantastic artists that we work with, and they designed some Hashhare layers. So on the build your own feature, essentially we've got 11 different layers, and NFTs are just amalgamation of different art layers that comprise a piece of art, and those layers are what determine the rarity of the NFT, right? Yeah. So when Hashhares come on board, we had our artists design some specific artwork that was time sensitive, so you could only mint it for, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks. And in this case, it was a hash hare's skin that sat on top of our Oddling artwork. And anyone who minted in, let's say, I think it was 2 weeks, now has a really rare piece of art that artwork will never be released again. And we did similar with Loco Lizards as well, or Loco Labs. We designed a couple of backgrounds and a Loco hat that was minted for, again, like 2 weeks. We did something similar for Hangry. We released a background that actually was only minted about 15 times. So that's super rare. So as part of that partnership, we try to do something unique that benefits not just our partner, but for the general community as a whole.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that community engagement as well, isn't it? These are new tools, new possibilities, and options for projects or creators to use things that maybe, like you say, don't have them themselves.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's really, really great. What about?
That's right. Go on.
No, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, what I've learned over the last 12 months, that it's really hard out there for NFT projects. I didn't realize quite how hard it was. The only time I'd ever kind of dabbled in the creation of an NFT project was Little Bobo's. And it was all done by me, on Photoshop in 20 minutes. But once you're out there, it's not just about the artwork or the app or the technology or the people. It's more or less all about community and building a solid foundation of people that believe in the project and join the Discord and Twitter and it's all about building the hype and the community. And I think without that, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things I've learned about running Oddersea. It's the hardest part is engagement and message and things like that.
Yeah, it's actually what I wanted to delve into next was the struggle, because it's not all rosy out here. Like you say, it takes a lot of time, effort, learning, and this daily chipping away, right, with a project in Web3. What would you say has been your biggest challenge? The engagement, or which one would you pick if you had to pick one? Because I know there's more than one. There's more than one for sure.
That's a good question. I think the biggest difficulty the common theme that runs through not just Oddersea but did coding and the wider community and other projects is engagement and community. It's getting the audience and retaining that audience. That's very difficult because you can have the best project and the best art out there, but unless you've got some original content that's coming out consistently with a consistent message, people lose interest very, very quickly. So that's kind of a common theme across all projects.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think the hardest, the most difficult part about Oddersea specifically is resource. A resource in terms of cost and in terms of people, so bums on seats. The entire, all the bums on the seats that we have all have real jobs, real jobs in the Web2 world. So I'm co-founder and CEO. I work as a software engineer for the UK government. So I'm busy with that. So Oddersea is always, although we're running it as a legitimate UK registered private company, I've still got a day job. As has my other co-founder, James, who is sees hair at Hash Hairs. He's got a day job, as has Marquez, who's also got a day job. Our two artists got day jobs. And that goes all the way through, right down to the mod level. So trying to run a business fairly, professionally, in a professional manner, should I say, whilst trying to retain jobs and keep things going and keep the lights on is by far and away the most difficult part of this, because running an app costs money. We've got if anyone hasn't visited, I urge you to do so, it's app.oddersea.com. We've got a corporate website, an app, we have an IPFS node, we have a back-end RESTful API, we've got SDKs, we've got all of these microservices that cost money to run. So even if we have 5 visitors to any one of those websites, plus all of the partner program sites, we've got didcoding.oddesea.com, Oddersea.com, we need them to be hosted and we need them to be running and scalable, and that will cost money. So we have the bums on seats resource, we have the cost resource, and on top of that, we've got to keep the community happy with constant sort of new features and new artwork and this, that. It's a juggling act. And, it's hard because it doesn't necessarily pay. So we're doing this all for free currently. Not as a hobby, but we're not making money. So we're doing this because we love it. And hopefully at some point when we really start taking off and selling more NFTs, it will become a force to be reckoned with, hopefully. But yeah, they're probably the 2 biggest: resource, community.
Yeah, I think no, I appreciate that openness, because I think it's probably a common theme for many founders in the space, right? Having a full-time job on the side, or not even on the side, right? It's your full-time job, you got your family, and then you're trying to run or build a business and a brand in this new world, which is also challenging to navigate. So I think Indeed. As a community member, as a user of Oddersea or any app, like keeping this in mind when we go about our days throughout the community, founders that are still here, especially after the bear that we've just been through, right? It's hat off, basically. That's what I want to say. Hat off to you, James, everyone on the team, and everyone else who's in a project and in this situation, because it's really not easy.
No, it's not. No, I do speak to a lot of founders regularly. I'm a part of a few different groups, and we're all in the same boat. There are a lot of Web3 companies that are thriving. They really are. That have provided the foundation type technology on Hedera that we all use. Like Dexes and the likes of Hashpack, right? But some of the other applications or companies that are now kind of popping up, it's difficult out there. It really is. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat, and we're doing this out of the love of the technology. Because if we're doing it for the money, some of us wouldn't still be here. And I'm almost addicted to Hedera. I love the technology. I do think it's the next step that many, that a lot of DLTs or chains will move towards. So, we wouldn't be here if we didn't love it.
Let's pull on that thread, because as a software engineer, I'm sure you have insights into the tech here that others, everyday users maybe don't have. But so keeping it simple, like in simple terms, why do you think Hedera is, the future DLT, in your opinion?
Right. Super quick. Lightning fast. I work with Python, and I'm using an SDK that's community built, actually. So there's no Hedera-based community built. When I say SDK, that means a software developer kit. So it's some software that's been developed that allows me to communicate with Hedera. When I say me, I'm talking about Oddersea. And that's pretty standard stuff. APIs and SDKs that's kind of the technology that the likes of Hedera, Solana, ETH, all of these chains and DLTs will provide to us software engineers that we can actually work with the technology. And I've found using Hedera is just lightning fast. It's no different to a standard API in Web2. You make a request, you get a response within seconds. Now, I have worked with other chains and other SDKs, and you need to change the way you work. So rather than making a request and waiting for a response, you do it in a slightly different fashion, but it's a lot slower by factors, multitudes of tens or even hundreds. Hedera was within seconds instead of minutes, so super fast. This doesn't affect me in my day job, but it's super green as well. I come from an environmental manager background. We haven't really touched on that at all. But before Web3, I worked in waste management, recycling, environmental management. So you know, I do care about emissions, and I want to be as green as I can. Now, Hedera is by far and away the greenest Web3 project out there. You know, so it's super fast, super green. And this does it. I do care about this one a lot more. It's super, super cheap. So a transaction on Hedera is, you know, 0.00000 whatever it is, dollars per transaction. Where if you're looking in a different chain, it could be far more than that. And all of a sudden, it starts scaling up, and costs go through the roof. So super fast, super green, super cheap. What else is there to love about it? I mean, that they're kind of the trifecta that you're looking for when you're looking for technology to work with. And you know, it's people say that Hedera is all about retail, but even on low key NFT tooling type projects, cost, speed, and you know, doing things in a green manner is important. So that's why Hedera is the best.
Yeah, I think you said Hedera is all about retail, but I think you meant enterprise, right?
Yeah.
And I think because of that, because of that, retail gets to benefit from these things, right? Because it is enterprise focused. Like the technology is enterprise grade, and as retail, we can benefit from that, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
That's nice.
But yeah, no. So like I say, I've experimented on other chains, but it just seems harder to plug into, if you like. Hedera is just I found it very, very easy. You know, even when I first dabbled with it a couple of years back.
Nice. Is there ever anything we haven't touched on today that you'd like to touch on? And any questions I haven't asked which you'd like to receive an answer?
Oh, anything we haven't touched on? No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been working in this space now for 2.5 years. I would like to see many more people moving over to Web3. I think it is the future. I think, you know, the transparency, the consensus. I think that's where things are going to head. You know, I've been a freelancer and a contractor outside of Web2 for longer than I care to admit, and I'm seeing more and more roles pop up on job boards and recruitment agencies, and you know, contractor roles that are looking for Web3 software engineers. And, you know, it's becoming more and more prevalent. So I would love to see more and more people kind of transitioning and dabbling with Web3. That's kind of what I'd like to see in the coming months and years, because I just think that's the way it's going to go. I don't think there's no ifs and buts. That's where we are in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. No, I think, like you said, in the last 2 years, we've come so far in, you know, in infrastructure and tools, and also in community. The next couple of years, I think with that foundation, it's going to get pretty exciting.
Indeed. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you for taking the time, Bobby, learning a bit more about your story and what you're working on. I'm sure the community will enjoy. Any final words before we wrap this up?
No, please take a look at our socials, which is Oddersea with an underscore at the end. That's on Twitter, and you can access our Discord from there. Please take the time to look at app.oddersea.com and fire me some feedback. We are still actively developing the app. The new design that you see when you visit, it got launched about a month ago, but that was on the back of some feedback from the community. So we do listen, we do react, and we're forever building. Build.